Helene was a female centaur in the Greek mythology. She was present at the battle against the Lapiths, where she lost her husband the centaur Cyrus, whom she loved very much. Heartbroken, she then took her own life to join him. The centaur lovers' episodic digression and their ideally mutual relationship within Nestor's narration of the battle of the Lapiths and centaurs in myth. Ovid alludes to two didactic poems, Lucretius' De Rerum Natura and Ovid's own Ars Amatoria 3. In the Silarus Helenum interlude, he explores hybridity itself, illustrating the relationships and possible combinations of a number of conceptual opposites, natura and cultus, human and animal, male and female, love and war, and the contrasting values of lyric, elegiac, and epic poetry. Sagittarius and Chiron. Sagittarius was the ultimate archer, keen-eyed and with deadly aim. He is usually drawn as a centaur, half man and half horse, which is how the Babylonians saw him. To the Greeks, though, he was a satyr, half man and half goat, who invented archery. The satyr name was Crotos, and his father was the pipe-playing god, Pan. According to some versions, the archer has his arrows poised to shoot the scorpion in case he decides to sting anyone. The stars in Sagittarius lie in the direction of the center of our galaxy. When you look at Sagittarius, you are peering right into the heart of the Milky Way. The most famous centaur in ancient mythology was Chiron, the king of centaurs, who lived with his tribe among the forests of Thrace. He was renowned because of his wisdom. Kings of Greece gave him gifts and sent their young ones to him for training as princes. Chiron was a sage, teacher, and philosopher. From his union of man and beast came both a deep knowledge of man's bestial origins and a deep sadness at his own differentness. He was the alien, the outsider. Heracles accidentally shot him with a poisonous arrow, and Chiron gave up his immortality to escape the pain. He was placed in the sky as the constellation Sagittarius, but because of his wisdom, he was granted the gift of immortality by the gods. So he couldn't die, but neither could the wound heal, for the poison was from a deadly serpent. So Chiron is the wounded healer who understands far better the nature of pain. He becomes a healer who cannot heal himself. In astronomy, Chiron, discovered in 1977, is considered both a comet and an asteroid. It displays a coma, a kind of enveloping haze like a comet. It belongs to a class of over 100 asteroids known as the centaurs. These objects are typically over 60 miles in diameter and are scattered primarily between the orbits of Saturn and Uranus. Although some travel near the orbit of Neptune, these objects are not typical asteroids as they seem to have an icy surface. Their origins are a mystery. The centaurides or centaurides are the female members of the Centauri, a tribe of centaurs in Greek mythology. The most reference of the centaurides is Helene, the wife of centaur Cyrus. Although rarely mentioned in Greek writing, centaurides were depicted most often in Greek art and later Roman mosaics. The Greek rhetorician Philostratus the Elder gives a brief description of centaurides. How beautiful the centaurides are, even when they are horses, for some grow out of white mares, others are attached to the chestnut mares, and the coats of others are dappled by the glisten like those of horses that are well cared for. There is also a white female centaur that grows out of a black mare, and the very opposition of the colors helps to produce the united beauty of a whole. Roman poet Ovid, in his epic Metamorphoses, gives a brief description of Helene as well. In the high woods there was none comelier of all the centaur girls, and she alone by love and love-sweet words and winning ways held Celerus, yes, and the care she took to look her best, so far as that may be with limbs like that, she combed her glossy hair, and twined her curls in turn with rosemary or violet or roses, and sometimes she wore a pure white lily. Twice a day she bathed her face in the clear brook that fell from Pegasus' high forest. Twice she plunged her body in its flow, nor would she wear o'er her left side and shoulder any skin but what became her from best chosen vistas. The basic factors of personality. There has been a lot of research done since the 1980s about the number and nature of human personality traits. Scientific consensus holds that there are 5 factors that have predominantly emerged from the research, and they are most often referred to as the Big Five or also the 5-factor model. These are considered to be fact based on the agreed acceptance of the scientific community that they have some value in understanding characteristics of people through their studies. Each of these factors holds sub-factors, and science believes that the emergence of such traits within a person can be used to significantly predict a variety of subjective variables thought to represent some social and cultural behaviors with some accuracy, such as intelligence, self-control, or dependency on drugs. Using the 5-factor model has been shown to predict behavior fairly consistently. The Big Five. The scientists agree that the 5-factor model proves consistent. There is much debate over the naming of the 5 factors themselves. They are most commonly measured by the NEO, by McRae and Costa. The Big Five, according to the NEO, are neuroticism, extroversion, openness to experience, agreeableness, and consciousness. These factors were accidentally discovered through factor analysis, which is a statistical procedure used to analyze how personality traits are predicted in humans. An important area of disagreement often is argued over the definition and interpretation of the intellect imagination factor, which is often referred to by many researchers as openness to experience. These traits are most commonly assigned through a series of tests that score a percentage based on answers to determine dominant traits. When scored based upon individual feedback of the tests, these traits are frequently presented as a percentage-based score, which can then be used to determine a number of probable factors in one's personality. The characteristics of neuroticism. Neuroticism most often refers to the tendency in humans to experience and express negative feelings. Those who score high on neuroticism maybe have trouble with expression and therefore experience unusually high negative feelings such as anger, anxiety, or depression. This group is emotionally sensitive to the world around them and often takes on some blame for their environment or relationships. This sensitivity to actions or events is caused by being reactive to their emotions. This group is more likely to feel threatened or hopeless by simple situations that the average person would not. This style of thinking is not considered to be healthy for the individual and may affect the ability to think clearly, make decisions, and cope effectively with situational stress. The characteristics of extroversion. The extroversion factor is often associated with an exceptional agreement with the external world. Extroverts enjoy being social and are happy being around people. They tend to be energetic and outgoing. This group is often expressive and cheery, sometimes to the amazement of others. This group is goal-oriented and constantly on the go. They will typically dislike being alone or having to wait on others, even despite their natural aversion to people. Despite these factors' seemingly instinctual aspect towards leadership, this group does not have great leading skill due to constant rash decisions and hard attitude. They will go with with or without following, and are quickly decisive without taking the time to reason or moderate choices. The characteristics of openness. The openness to experience factor is believed to describe a section of thinking styles that distinguish imaginative, artistic people from basic, conventional people. People with a strong openness factor score are considered intellectual, challenging, appreciative of art, and sensitive to life. They tend to be, compared to closed people, more aware of their feelings. People who rank within this factor tend to be more self-observing and non-conforming to common views. They tend to be individual and expressive, simple and practical. This factor represents an ability to be flexible and adaptable. Within this group, one may find themselves independent and best working alone, expressive and able to lead or teach others, resourceful and balanced. These types of people will carve their own paths based on unique beliefs. While this group may be viewed as radical to some, it is believed that this style of thinking is healthy and open to change and resistant to stressful situations. The characteristics of agreeableness. The agreeableness factor reflects individuals' differences in concern with social aspects of life and social harmony. This group values social interaction and getting along with others. They are often considered the most considerate, friendly, generous, and helpful people. They are more than often moderate and compromising, optimistic and caring. This group believes in the goodness within people and can often be gullible or mistreated. This factor demonstrates a willingness to put the interests of others above interests of their own. This group also has significant social skill and would be best suited working in a team setting. The agreeableness factor makes this group of individuals likable and popular. This group is considered to make the best friends and sustain good relations with others. This group is often considered to be too flexible and lacks the ability to enforce rule or make valid decisions by themselves. They are thoughtful and choose wisely when making choices and may often be seen as indecisive. The characteristics of consciousness. Finally, the consciousness factor is more in-depth concerning self-directed choices. This group is impulsive and reactive, quick to make choices and needy of praise. This group may be seen as excessive or compulsive by the average person. This group often relies on their instincts and perception and goes with their feelings on impulse. They may be seen as outgoing and may be headstrong and wild. This group is considered to be successful and accepting of achievement. This group is often calculated despite being seen as reactive. They make quick choices based on strategic planning and persistence. This group is thought and positively regarded by others as intelligent and reliable. They may be seen as overachievers, compulsive perfectionists, and workaholics. This group may disregard social aspect in the desire to excel or achieve. What style do you fit in?